Hello, welcome. Alan here with Discovering Buddhism. I hope you're well. Thanks for being there. So we're on our second class on this topic of transforming problems, second of 4 classes, and we've got we're about halfway through this text that we're looking at. It's called The 8 Verses of Mind Training by Langi Trangpa, a famous Tibetan master, meditation teacher, from the 1054 to 1123, so a long time ago, in the 11th century, 12th century. So there are 8 verses, and we did the first 2, and I think we're about halfway through the 3rd verse up from last week. All right, so let's, as always, begin with 5 minutes of mindfulness breathing meditation. So get comfortable. This is to settle the mind, focus the mind, and to get the day's busyness behind us. Okay, so get comfortable. Basically, you could be sitting on a chair, sitting on the floor, cross-legged, or you can be lying down. The main thing is to be comfortable and the body is relaxed. So as we come into our inner world, leaving the busy day behind, have a sense of becoming aware of what the body's doing, what the mind's doing, what the internal world is doing. Just a moment to appreciate how fortunate we are to do some practice together, study incredible teachings of the Buddha. Our motivation is to improve our minds, our wisdom, our compassion, ultimately to become fully liberated, just as the Buddha did. And as a fully liberated being, we can be of maximum benefit to all other beings. Now we just come into the body, checking the back straight, shoulders relaxed. Eyes can be closed or just gazing gently ahead. Starting with focusing on the out-breath, and just have a sense with each out-breath of letting go. Breathing out any tension in the body, aches and pains, and breathing out any tension in the mind, any anxiety, stress, busy thoughts. We can let those go. Time to let go, time to relax. Using our breath to anchor the mind, to take care of our mind. Watching the gentle rhythm of the breath as it enters and leaves the body. No changing the breath, no judging, just watching how it enters and leaves the body without control, no judging. We're staying with the breath. There will be thoughts coming and going. We notice them, but we don't hook onto them. We just let them pass through the mind and come back to the breath. One breath at a time. Full flow of the in-breath, full flow of the out-breath. Okay, just relax. Just remind if anybody is watching or now or streaming later, and you'd like to join the group and get all the handouts and the materials, just put a little message in the chat column at the side there saying that you'd like to join the group. Put your email address and I'll put you on the mailing list. So every week you'll get the notes and then you'll be in the loop. Okay, so that's fine. So let's look at the notes. I sent out set of notes for this week. Also, I sent out an extra page, the 8 verses of thought transformation on one page. Okay, so that's just to make it easier to just look back at the verses all in one place there. And let's just have a look. I've got a few. Oh, just the other thing. There's quite a lot of readings, but I recommend the readings are actually quite concise. The Dalai Lama extract of his teachings is, I think it's 3 pages on the readings. They're very, I mean, if you don't want to read anything else, if you just read his commentary on the 8 verses. Probably only take about 10 minutes. It's very to the point and easy to read. The other thing, I reread some of Venerable Sapel's transcript. She taught this subject some years ago, and over, I think, 6 weeks. And so this is a transcript of all the teachings she gave, which I've emailed to you. You've got the electronic copy. It's really good, actually. I've just reread it. I haven't read it for about 12 months. And it's very, very well spoken, because, of course, it was verbal. But it actually makes really good, easy reading with good examples. She brings in a lot of her own life into it, and her stories as a teacher, because she's been a Buddhist nun, Australian Buddhist nun, for probably about more than 20 years, maybe 30 years, teaching in Australia, but also in many interesting places like Mongolia and other parts of the world. Very senior, well-respected nun, Venerable Sapel. So that's that transcript is definitely worth a look. So let's have a look at the questions. I've just got a few from last week. And first one is, why is expressing anger seen as harmful in Buddhist psychology? So I think we talked a little bit about the dangers of anger last week. His Holiness often mentions it, and also Lama Yeshe, Lama Zopa. And I know when I was probably just exploring Buddhism in the 80s, it was quite popular in popular culture to have these anger expression groups where you go along and do a lot of screaming. And there was a group called Bhagavan Rajneesh, the Rajneeshis, some of you probably heard of, the orange people, and they actually specialised in having these anger weekends where people would go along and spend a lot of time expressing anger, doing a lot of shouting and screaming and so on. So Lama Yeshe was aware of this, and also I think His Holiness is, so the problem with this, as all the Tibetan teachers say, is that it's that by an action that we do, whether it's loving kindness, helping others, or screaming and being angry, leaves a kind of a habit on the mind. So it's not as if just somehow the anger goes out into space and doesn't come back. But according to Buddhist psychology, everything we do leaves an imprint on the mind. And so a negative action will leave, in terms of karma, karma is what the action itself and the effect of the action. That's really what karma means, the action and the effect. So by just expressing anger and doing, particularly repetitively expressing anger, we actually, the mind will be better and better at anger. Will develop the habit. It's the same with generosity, loving kindness, patience. These positive qualities that if we express and practice them, will improve. I've just got to notice that I have to do something about the power. So excuse me, I've got to turn my power back on. Just something's happening.